everyone, it is Abigail of the Black Book Space. I'm out at one of my favorite parks today and I want to talk to you guys about a book. So you know the theme for the month is about rest. I am resting a little bit today. I'm just outside taking in some fresh air and reminiscing over some books that I have read. So if you'd like to hear about the next one, which is A Princess in Theory, then I think you should come on back and listen. Hey guys, I'm back. So as you can see, I'm outside. I got my little scarf on because it's not that warm, but it's not too cool either. It's a nice day to be outside reading a book. And if you need a book to read, my recommendation is this one by Alyssa Cole. She's one of my favorite authors. She has a series called Reluctant Royals that's about the people in this book and several other royals as well, right? So it's not just about your regular run-of-the-mill folk. These people are royalty and they're doing all the fancy stuff, but it's kind of cool because it's different from what you normally expect. They're not like all crazy and bougie. This one is actually a little different and very funny. It's one of the funniest books that I've read in a while. I've actually read this book twice at this point, which I don't normally do that, right? I hoard a lot of books, so normally I'll just go buy a new one. But at this point in my life, I don't know what I was doing. I decided to read this book again. So it is about these two lovely people, Naledi and Prince Tabiso. Starts off with Naledi, who is one of my favorite characters of all time because she's a scientist. Yeah, she's a science student. She's in grad school and she's coming up with all these little schemes and potions and things. Well, not all of that, but she's in the science lab. She's experienced a lot of craziness though because she's looking to get into a really good internship. Doesn't quite go as planned, and the people in her lab are getting on her nerves because that's what people do in your life sometimes, and that's happening a lot in this book. So one day, right, she's sitting at her email or at her computer and she gets an email that says, Prince Tabiso is looking for you. This is a royal prince. He's looking for you. You're his long lost betrothed. You got to get in touch with him. And she was like, what is this? Like, that sounded like a scam. And you know, I'm sure you've gotten emails like that before, right? Where it seems like something that's too good to be true. Hey, if you fill this out and you turn around 3 times, I'll send you $1 million, but you have to send me $750 in order to get the. That's what this sounded like. And so she wasn't, you know, she wasn't going to go in. She wasn't going to go along with it. So she decided to ignore it, continue to ignore it. And that is when Prince Tabiso and his assistant decided to come down to New York to pay this woman a visit. So this is one of my favorite scenes in this book, is when these two finally meet in person. And look at them. They're such a beautiful couple. Of course, these are just bottles, but I do imagine them looking like this. So Tabiso is the prince, as I said. Comes to New York looking for Naledi, but he couldn't tell her who he could have probably told her who he really was, but he decided not to for whatever reason, probably because he thought, you know, she wouldn't believe him. But he decided to tell her that his name was Jamal, and this is where he first comes in. He's saying he's going to be helping her at her other job because he's pretending to be someone else, and it all went wrong. So serving was hell. Tabiso had thought he was fit and had stamina, but he was drenched in sweat. He pulled something in his back while attempting to lift a heavy tray, and he was ready to throw in the towel on this little scheme. Perhaps I didn't think this through. I would agree. He definitely didn't think this through. The initial setting up had gone well. He knew what a proper place setting looked like. The fastest way to expose one's gaucheness was to pick up the wrong utensil, and all fine dining setting configurations had been drilled into him. He's a prince. He basked in Naledi's praise as he swiftly laid down silverware as she put out the glassware. They'd work smoothly, in tandem. Her arm kept brushing against his as she reached past him to place a wine glass here or a bread plate there. He'd never realized how much grace there was in such work, and it had felt like some kind of choreographed dance. She hadn't said much about herself as they'd worked, and had politely rebuffed any attempt at chit-chat related to her personal life. He didn't know where she lived, where she'd grown up, and what school she went to, or whether she was dating anyone, but he learned all about the history of the Institute and the scientific advances that had taken place there. So what happened was, in this case, Tabiso, otherwise known as Jamal, walked into Naledi's place, like getting ready to tell her, I guess, who he was. And he decided instead to pretend to be someone else. And she thought he was there to work, and she put him to work right away. And as you can tell, like, he's doing okay, but this is not what he's used to doing because he's a prince. He knows what to do, but he normally has people do this for him. So it's a little, it's not that fun. The people who eat here can be kind of strange, she's saying, but some of them have made incredible discoveries in their research, she said, something like awe in her voice, years of study and focus, obsession on one crazy specific thing, all for the nearly impossible goal of changing the world. Is that what you want to do? He asked. Change the world. She lost a bit of her enthusiasm then. I don't know if I'll ever be in a position to do that with my work. Besides, this work, you're usually relying on someone else with money or power. And I've seen how they operate, cutting the funding of important research or trying to make money instead of helping people. It's like they forget that out of everyone in the world, they've been trusted to do what's right. She gazed at him with clear emotion in her eyes, then a few blinks, then it was gone. Not gone, hidden. Do you think it's easy having such power? He asked. He was truly curious, and it was perhaps the first time he could get an honest answer without having his royal title taken into account. Letty had laughed. Easy? That depends. If you want to use your power to exploit people and gain personal wealth, then yes, it's pretty easy. But if you want to change the world for the better, not so easy, he said. So that's where I'll stop. So this is where they're like learning a little bit more about each other and all these things. It's pretty interesting. It's pretty cool because she doesn't know who he is, and she's saying that if she had all this money and power, she'd do things differently. So you have to read the book to find out if she ever gets all this money and power and what she will do if she gets it. You're going to learn a little bit more about it if you read the book, and I highly recommend that you do. If you're interested in books like these, I highly recommend that you hop into the description box below where you will find the link to a wonderful event called the Epic Book Chat, which we're going to be having in March 5th, 2023. It's going to be at 3:30 here in Phoenix, Arizona, right? So that's MST time, but it's a hybrid thing. So you can join us online if you'd like to when we talk about the book 7 days in June. And I'm so very excited about this. If you're into Black literature, Black love, all that kind of stuff, you just like to read in general, you need to come out because it's going to be a very fancy, very cool event. We get to play games, talk about books, be around like-minded people, stuff our faces, all that kind of good stuff. Okay, so whatever you do today, I hope that it brings you joy, and I will see you soon. Bye.